Well, Tactical 40K, another GW release, or its pre-orders coming up this weekend. Or if you watch this video, it might already be out. But they really did a number on the old Golden Boys of Custodes. They totally redid their index detachment. That's what really gets me. I'm sure you guys are all aware of all the things that are going on with them. Losing some pretty key abilities like the devastating wounds, feel no pain. That shield host, you'd think that they would keep that detachment just like they did the other ones as they released all the other codexes, and then deviate from there just so you have that index. Then they nerfed a bunch of their data sheets. I don't want to really get into too much. I might pick up a box just to play them, but I don't want to get too much in this because we're mainly Space Marines at the moment. Not that I won't go into like a Custodes, because now it's kind of intriguing now that they got significantly nerfed. I'm like, okay, I like the data sheets still, and I would like to put together an army like that, and when everybody's not going to play them, why not, right? But anyway, Dark Angels players, our sympathies, as Dark Angel player, our sympathies are with the Custodes at this grim, dark time. We've gone through our own thing. I mentioned in their Reddit is like, well, when you have a giant plasma gun that has less damage output and hazardous than a plasma pistol and an Inceptor, there's things wrong. But anyway, let's get into this real quick because I haven't been on here a while, but I played some games, and granted, some of the opponents I played, I haven't enjoyed the games because there's been some significant errors on his part on some of his units, and then some just pushback over competitiveness. And then even this last game, I beat this guy, and he just got super mad when he realized I was pulling away, and we didn't even get to the bottom round 3, that's when my score was going to surpass his. And then I drew the 2 good secondaries for the way I set up the army, and then he just called the game, and then posted later on there that, oh yeah, well, I was up on score and we just had to call it, and because the store was closing. It's like the store wasn't closing. We had enough time. We had another like hour, and it was just the guy just I don't know. I don't enjoy those games, but anyway, it was Death Guard I was playing, and even though he's playing the first couple games I played and he's playing them wrong, it made me realize certain things about my list. So we'll go into that a different video, but this is needless to say, I had to bring back my infiltrators into my list as just an overall unit, not necessarily just against Death Guard army, but other armies that have these deep strike capabilities with beefy units, Custodians being one of them. So we brought those guys back in. I also did another thing that's a little interesting. I took away my aggressor brick and went into put in a different unit. We'll talk about that another time. But anyway, what I found with Death Guard, I'll keep this video short, is if they're, depending on, this guy's running 3 bricks of Death Shroud Terminators, which their flamers are just insane against anti-infantry stuff, which Space Marines, we got a lot of that, especially if you're running a Vanguard detachment, because all your strats and everything go on the infantry, so you tend to like to have infantry on there. I mean, I still run tanks, but there's a lot of things you do with infantry, and it's inevitable. You're going to have infantry. So having them being able to deep strike in your lines, rapid ingress was the thing he was doing too. It was a great strategy. So even though he's playing like Morty wrong and he's playing a few other things, being able to play against the Death Shroud Terminator bricks, 3 of them, and understanding those, it really opened my eyes to another aspect of the game, because like we were talking about before, so I was, pretty much safe against all these other armies. I was doing good against orcs, I was doing a good Tau, I was doing good against Tyranids, I was doing a good against all these various opponents, other Space Marine list, and being able to outscore them and whatnot. And still, I can outmaneuver the Death Guard, but at the same time, when you have these bricks of Terminators that come in on your lines and just sit up on an objective, and then they sticky these things, and then they also put their little ore deal, it kind of checked me a little bit. So I wasn't concerned about how he's misplaying his other stuff. I was concerned about this. I was learning stuff still. And then, like I said, the third game, I adapted my list to a more, I believe, well-rounded list, the way Vanguard plays. I got rid of the aggressor brick. I know that sounds weird because that was a big staple, a lot of shots, but I got rid of that in favor of a few different units. I also brought in my Whirlwind back because we talked about this concept of military terms, having combined arms army. And I took it away, and I was really missing it, because when we're looking through military terms, it's good to have those aspects, whether you have some sort of fire support, indirect fire support that shapes the battlefield, and then being able to have these elements. This damn rabbit always drinks water when I'm on the camera, and I don't know if you can hear it. It's just annoying. I don't know what it's doing, what it thinks it's doing. Right here. Anyway, so you want these elements. You want things that have dedicated purposes too, and you want to have fun. That's the other thing. I want to have fun in this list. So that was one thing too. And when I had the aggressor brick, they just got blasted. They don't have an invul, so they get blasted. So what you have to end up doing is, if you run Ultramarines, you can put them with Calgar or something. But I'm running Shrike, so I was like, well, what do we do here? Well, we tailor a little bit more towards the maneuverability component, striking hard, like if you read the books, the lore of the Raven Guard, strike hard, pull back, strike hard again, and show up somewhere unexpected. So that's what we're doing. Of course, we got Inceptors. I'm going to go on the list another video, but the point being is we've tailored our list a little bit better to more, even, I think, a little bit more Raven Guard theme, and then also a realistic military tactics theme, or I guess tactics, just principles. Having a little bit indirect, having some maneuverability assets, and then that main element that we have always talked about, having that one main element that goes in there and takes, you pick out your couple of objectives or whatever you want, and he takes that, and you have supporting elements that come around and do other things. And then of course you got scoring units that are interdicting the enemy in various capacities that are causing their game plan to fall through. So I just wanted to go into that. Of course, the big thing is the codices. I advise you to go look at these custodies, codices, or codex, and see what's going on there, because it's crazy, in my opinion. I mean, you have orcs seem to be making out, and we've seen that throughout. It seems like when they dual release codex, you get one good one, and then one's kind of like, I don't know what you're thinking, especially Psalm Necrons and Admech. Space Marine Codex, there's a lot of tools, and it's not bad. So I'm not complaining. The attachments are pretty cool. I just, when you got the Dark Angels, they really dropped the ball on that one. Not only on the detachments, I think. I mean, there's some interesting stuff in there, but the vanilla Space Marine detachments are way better for the units, and especially since they nerf some of the damage output on and some of the defensive stuff. When you look at the line, when you look at the Knights, when you look at that, what is it, not the Death, is it the Death Shroud, or whatever their plasma land speed or stuff like that. I mean, there's other things too, but it doesn't look, they haven't done a good job. They could have made it more flavorful and given things. And here's a hot take on the old Dark Angels thing. When I looked at all these new attachments, I'm like, if I run a Dark Angels list in some kind of competitive form, granted, inner circle, they look fun. There's some fun mechanics in there, but really the Unforgiven Task Force is not that bad, and I would not be opposed to running it. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. 8:30. Or 8 minutes and 30 something seconds. We will talk about the list. I'm still painting this new model that I put into it that buffs like pretty much my entire army against certain units. And we'll go through it. And there's certain, like I said, there's certain units that I'm wishy-washy about that might come back in, that might not. But I think I'm cutting it and sending this. We're gonna go play some more games against other opponents, probably a Tyranids list. And then probably see if we can get in a good orc game and see if this list holds up as like the last one. And if it does, then I have more of a well-rounded Swiss Army knife type vanguard that I can go into these bricky armies, and then also these horde armies, and also these like shooty or melee focused armies. So we'll see. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Peace.